Hello, and in this RNG battles video, this will be part 5 of if does the 5% damage boost from giant weapons truly matter. And in this video, this will be a bonus one. I was only going to make 4, but people in Discord voted for me to make 5 leaf, so I will. 5 leaf was surprisingly very easy to calculate overall. It didn't take all too much work. It's pretty similar to how Bob was, except I don't know how the result of the 5% exactly paid off or not. I hope everyone enjoys this video and hopefully it helps you. I know there's only 6 5 leaves that exist, but I do hope that this will help. And let's just go ahead and get into it. So 5 leaves base damage is 102. So you can one-shot someone with no armor. So someone who skipped the tutorial somehow, you can one-shot them or just took their armor off. Pretty nice. That's without the 5% damage boost, but with the 5% damage boost, you got 107.1 damage, which yet again can one-shot someone without armor who probably skipped the tutorial. And it's not even good enough to one-shot cardboard armor, so it's similar to Bob pretty much. But moving on to 2 hits. With 2 hits, we get 204 damage without the 5% damage boost. And with that, we can 2-shot participle board. Pretty nice. Everything below that can get 2-shotted. With the 5% damage boost, it actually gives us 214.2 damage. Not quite the miner, but everything we can 2-shot everything up to the beekeeper, which is very nice. So it is a little jump here. These are obviously exclusive or limited, so I don't normally count them. I'm only counting mainly the normal ones that most players will have. But yeah, it is a little jump if you're grinding, so it could be a little useful for this. Moving on to 3 base hits with the normal base. 3 base hits without the 5% damage does 306 damage. So you can actually 3-shot everything that is eerie and below, which is quite nice. You're 4 damage away from being able to get to the Reaper. You're close, but you're not quite there. You're 4 damage off. Anyway, it is really nice. I'm going to use the Knight as an example because Eerie's the rarest armor in the game, and I happen to have it currently. So let's just say the Knight and everything below the Knight. You could say Eerie, but I doubt anyone's using this. So let's say everything the Knight and below. Now with the 5% damage boost with 3 base hits, you can actually jump up to the Reaper. Now as we see of a common trend with every single 5% video I've done, it always ends up jumping up 1, which makes sense. It would be kind of pointless if it didn't do anything. Overall though, it seems like for every single weapon it will jump up 1 armor per hits that it can actually jump up, which is very nice for grinding. Certain ones it can be nice for 1v1s, like for the Juggernaut, it's definitely worth it for 1v1s. But overall for 1v1s it's not too useful, normally. Obviously, as you know, 4 base hits will kill the best arm in the game, Doodle Henry, because it's 100 damage times 4 for both. So they both can just 4-shot base hit Doodle Henry, doesn't matter. But moving on to the crits, the normal crit with base without the 5% damage boost, so it's 153 damage. So it's the same as Bob. Anything that's construction or below, you can 1 crit. But actually, with the 5% damage boost with 1 crit, you can actually 1 crit anything below bubble wrap and below, which is actually just another. Actually, jump 2 is quite nice. Yet again, as you see the common trend, it jumps up just a little bit. It is nice, not too important, and you can get away without having it. Moving on to 2 crits without the 5% damage boost, that will do 306 damage. Now, if you also saw what else did 306 damage, there's actually 3 base hits without the 5% damage boost as well. So yet again, you can double crit anything that is technically Eerie and below, but I'm just going to say Knight and below because you're never going to see Eerie really. So you can 2 crit anything that is Knight and below without the 5% damage boost. Now if we add the 5% damage boost, we jump up to 321.3 damage. Yet again, if you see a common trend, this is the same exact thing as 3 base hits with the 5% damage boost. So 2 crits with 5% damage boost, yet again will jump up and you can 2 crit the Reaper. You'll be like 9 damage off from the Jester, but being able to 2 crit the Reaper is really nice. That is something that I'm not even sure Bob could do. No, Bob could do with the 5%. Without the 5% it couldn't. But it is really nice to be able to 2 crit the Reaper. Because it is probably another one of those common free-to-play things. Free-to-play armors you will see. And obviously 3 crits will kill the best armor in the game, Doodle Henry, for both. So that gets all of our, you know, singular crits, double crits, triple crits, 1 base hit, 2 base hit, 3 base hit, 4 base hit. Now we can move on to crits and base hits together, which should be pretty short. 1 base hit and 1 crit without the 5% damage boost will give us 255 damage. That means you can 1 base hit and 1 crit anything below the Apocalypse, which is very nice. Now 1 hit and 1 crit with the 5% with 5% damage boost will give us 160.65, which, well, it doesn't jump up at all, it just stays at the Apocalypse. Or actually, no, you can actually do 1 hit, 1 hit, 1 crit, and 1 hit, normal hit with the 5% damage boost actually does allow you to 2-shot the Leprechaun. That is very nice. I read my math a little wrong there. I don't think there's any armor in between that. I want to say, you could do a Scarecrow. You won't see this very often though, so I wouldn't worry about it. Anyway, moving back on, we got 2 base hits and 1 crit without the 5% damage boost, which is all the way up to 357 damage. So you can 2 base hit and 1 crit without the 5% damage boost to Jester. Now 2 base hits with 1 crit with the 5% damage boost actually allows you to 3-tap Juggernaut. Not a huge jump, but yet again it is another jump. So it proves that the 5% damage is worth it if you do want to use it. It is very nice knowledge to know. The math on this was not very fun. Then obviously 3 base hits with 1 crit kills the best armor in the game, Doodle Henry. So that is essentially irrelevant. But onto the final part, 2 crits and 1 base hit without the 5% damage boost. Well, still kills Doodle Henry. Even with 2 crits and a normal hit for both kills Doodle Henry. So it's 300 plus 100. Kills Doodle Henry. It was the same for Bob. And that's actually pretty much it. It was a shorter one, mainly because these higher damage weapons doesn't really match the armor. So overall it kills just even the highest level armor really fast. Even the lower armor is really fast. Even without the 5% damage boost, you'll do fine. But if you are grinding, you are playing, and you want to get done as fast as possible, the 5% damage boost is really nice to consider. I know not everyone likes using the giant weapons. I personally, if anything, I like using some of the smaller weapons. If you saw some of my other videos, something like the Dark Heart, Clover Karambit, some of these smaller weapons, Midnight Karambit, just some of the smaller weapons are really fun to use. Anyway, that is it for this video. I hope everyone enjoyed. Peace out.